OutDaughtered star Adam Busby opened up about postpartum depression. When people watch OutDaughtered, they often see smiles, laughter, and a family that somehow manages to survive chaos with humor and love. Viewers see Adam Busby as a supportive husband, a devoted father, and someone who always seems ready to crack a joke even when life gets overwhelming. But behind the cameras, behind the carefully edited moments of family life, Adam Busby has lived through struggles that many people never expected him to face or to openly talk about. One of the most powerful moments in Adam's public journey came when he opened up about postpartum depression, a topic that is still misunderstood, especially when it involves fathers. For many fans, his honesty was surprising. For others, it was deeply comforting. And for countless people quietly struggling in their own lives, it was a moment of recognition. I'm not alone. Adam Busby's story isn't just about a reality TV star. It's about mental health, vulnerability, and the courage it takes to speak honestly in a world that often expects strength without emotion, especially from men. Postpartum depression is most commonly associated with mothers, and for good reason. Women go through immense physical, hormonal, emotional, and psychological changes during pregnancy and after childbirth. But what often goes unspoken is that fathers can also experience serious emotional struggles after the birth of a child. In Adam's case, the pressure was multiplied beyond what most families experience. Adam and Danielle Busby welcomed not one baby, but 5 daughters at once, quintuplets, while already raising their oldest daughter, Blake. Overnight, their family transformed into a household of 8, with 5 premature newborns requiring intense care, attention, and constant vigilance. The joy was enormous, but so was the stress. Adam has been open about the fact that, during this time, he felt overwhelmed in ways he didn't understand at first. He wasn't just tired. He wasn't just stressed. Something deeper was happening, something he didn't have the language for at the time. He described feeling emotionally disconnected, constantly anxious, and mentally exhausted. Even when surrounded by love, he felt isolated. Even when everything looked successful, from the outside, a growing family, a hit TV show, public admiration inside, he felt lost. For many men, admitting these feelings is incredibly difficult. Society often teaches men to be strong, to be providers, to push through pain without talking about it. Adam has said that for a long time, he believed he just needed to man up and keep going. He thought feeling this way meant he was failing as a husband and a father. What made his experience even more confusing was that postpartum depression isn't widely discussed in men. Adam didn't recognize what he was experiencing as depression at first. He questioned himself constantly. He wondered why he couldn't simply be happy when so many people expected him to be grateful. That internal conflict between what you think you should feel and what you actually feel is one of the most painful aspects of depression. Adam has shared that there were days when getting out of bed felt heavy, even though 5 tiny lives depended on him. He felt pressure not just from family responsibilities, but from being a public figure. Cameras were rolling. Fans were watching. Expectations were everywhere. Yet depression doesn't care about circumstances. It doesn't disappear because life looks good on paper. And it certainly doesn't vanish just because people are cheering for you. One of the most important aspects of Adam's story is how his mental health struggles affected his relationship with Danielle. Marriage is already challenging under normal circumstances, but adding newborn quintuplets, sleep deprivation, medical worries, and a television production into the mix creates an environment where communication can easily break down. Adam has acknowledged that there were moments when he withdrew emotionally, even from his wife. He didn't always know how to express what he was feeling, and sometimes he didn't want to burden Danielle, who was dealing with her own postpartum recovery and emotional challenges. His kind of emotional distancing is common in depression. People often believe they are protecting their loved ones by staying silent, when in reality, silence creates more distance and misunderstanding. Over time, Adam reached a breaking point where he realized something had to change. Ignoring his mental health wasn't making him stronger. It was making him less present, less connected, and less able to be the father and husband he wanted to be. Seeking help was not easy for him. Like many men, he struggled with the idea of therapy and medication. There's still stigma around mental health treatment, especially for men in leadership or provider roles. But Adam took a step that would eventually change his life, and he reached out for professional help. Adam has openly talked about going to therapy and being diagnosed with depression and anxiety. Putting a name to what he was experiencing gave him clarity. It didn't magically fix everything, but it gave him understanding. He finally realized that what he was feeling wasn't a personal failure, and it was a medical and emotional condition that could be treated. Through therapy, Adam learned how to recognize his thought patterns, how to communicate his emotions more clearly, and how to ask for help without shame. He learned that vulnerability wasn't weakness and it was honesty. One of the most impactful moments in Adam's journey was his decision to share his experience publicly. Opening up about postpartum depression as a father was a risk. He knew there would be judgment. He knew some people wouldn't understand. But he also knew that silence helped no one. By speaking out, Adam challenged a deeply ingrained narrative that men are supposed to be emotionally unaffected by parenthood struggles. He reminded people that fathers are human too. They feel fear, anxiety, sadness, and exhaustion just like mothers do. His openness resonated with fans around the world. Many fathers reached out to say they had felt the same way, but never had the words to explain it. Others thanked him for showing that it's okay to ask for help. Adam didn't present himself as someone who had everything figured out. He didn't claim to be cured. Instead, he talked honestly about ongoing management, about learning to live with mental health awareness, about checking in with himself, and about continuing therapy when needed. That honesty is what made his message so powerful. Another important aspect of Adam's story is how it changed the way people viewed mental health within families. Postpartum depression isn't just an individual experience but affects the entire household. When one parent struggles, the emotional balance of the family shifts. By addressing his mental health, Adam wasn't just helping himself. He was helping Danielle. He was helping his children. He was creating a healthier emotional environment at home. He has talked about how therapy helped him become more present with his daughters, more patient during stressful moments, and more emotionally available as a parent. Those changes may not always be dramatic, but they are deeply meaningful. Adam's story also highlights how mental health challenges can exist alongside love and gratitude. He has never denied how grateful he is for his family. He has never minimized the joy his children bring him. But he has made it clear that gratitude doesn't cancel out depression. You can love your life and still struggle. You can love your family and still feel overwhelmed. Both things can be true at the same time. This is a message many people need to hear, especially parents who feel guilty for struggling when they believe they should be happy. Over the years, Adam has continued to advocate for mental health awareness, especially among men. He has spoken about the importance of checking in on fathers after childbirth, not just mothers. He has encouraged open conversations between partners, friends, and families. He has also emphasized the importance of removing shame from mental health treatment. Therapy isn't a sign that something is wrong with you, it's a sign that you care enough to take responsibility for your well-being. One of the reasons Adam's story matters so much is because it came from a place of visibility. Reality TV often presents a polished version of family life, even when it claims to show reality. By sharing his struggles, Adam reminded viewers that what they see on screen is only part of the story. Behind every smiling family photo is a complex emotional reality. Behind every viral moment is a human being with fears, doubts, and vulnerabilities. Adam Busby didn't just open up about postpartum depression, he helped redefine how people talk about fatherhood and mental health. He showed that strength doesn't come from pretending everything is fine. It comes from acknowledging when it's not. His story continues to inspire conversations about emotional health, masculinity, and the importance of support systems. It encourages fathers to speak up. It encourages families to listen. And it encourages society to broaden its understanding of postpartum mental health. Perhaps the most powerful part of Adam's journey is that it's ongoing. Mental health isn't a one-time battle. It's a lifelong relationship with yourself. Adam has shown that progress isn't linear, and that seeking help once doesn't mean you'll never need it again. He has also shown that openness creates connection. By sharing his experience, he didn't lose respect, he gained it. He didn't weaken his image, he strengthened it. In a world where men are often told to suppress emotion, Adam Busby chose honesty. In a culture that still struggles to talk about mental health, he chose transparency. And in doing so, he gave O'Hare's permission to do the same. His journey is a reminder that postpartum depression doesn't have a single face. It doesn't belong to one gender. It doesn't discriminate based on success, fame, or circumstance. Adam Busby's story isn't just about pain. It's about growth. It's about learning to ask for help. It's about becoming a better partner, a better parent, and a healthier person by facing what's difficult instead of hiding from it. And most importantly, it's about reminding people that no one has to struggle in silence. As time went on, Adam Busby began to understand that talking about mental health wasn't something you do once and move on from. It became part of how he lived his life. Awareness didn't end with a diagnosis or a few therapy sessions. It became an ongoing commitment to himself, to his marriage, and to his children. One of the biggest lessons Adam learned was how deeply unspoken emotions can shape daily behavior. He noticed how irritability, impatience, and emotional numbness were often signals, not personality flaws, not signs of failure, but indicators that something inside needed attention. Instead of pushing those feelings away, he learned to pause and ask why they were there. This shift didn't happen overnight. There were setbacks. There were days when old habits crept back in, when stress felt overwhelming again, and when self-doubt returned. But the difference was that Adam no longer felt trapped inside those moments. He had tools. He had language. And most importantly, he had support. Danielle played a significant role in this evolution. As Adam became more open, their communication as a couple deepened. They began having more honest conversations not just about parenting logistics, but about emotional well-being. This openness didn't remove challenges from their marriage, but it gave them a way to face those challenges together instead of in isolation. Adam has spoken about how important it was to learn that being emotionally present doesn't mean always having the right answers. Sometimes it simply means listening. Sometimes it means admitting you don't know what to do, but you're willing to figure it out together. That mindset changed the emotional tone of their household. Fatherhood, for Adam, also began to take on a new meaning. Instead of measuring success by productivity or endurance, he started measuring it by presence. Could he be emotionally available? Could he show patience when things felt chaotic? Could he model emotional honesty for his daughters? Those questions mattered deeply to him, especially knowing that his children would one day face their own emotional challenges. Adam understood that the way he handled his mental health would shape how his daughters viewed their own feelings in the future. By speaking openly about depression and anxiety, Adam wasn't just helping adults, he was helping normalize emotional conversations for the next generation. Another powerful aspect of Adam's journey is how it challenged traditional ideas of masculinity. For a long time, strength was defined by endurance, silence, and control. Adam's experience showed that real strength often looks very different. It looks like asking for help. It looks like admitting vulnerability. It looks like choosing healing over pride. When Adam shared his story publicly, not everyone responded with understanding. Some people questioned whether men could really experience postpartum depression. Others minimized his experience, comparing it to what mothers endure physically after childbirth. Adam didn't respond with defensiveness. Instead, he continued sharing calmly and consistently, trusting that honest conversation would eventually shift understanding. Over time, more conversations emerged around paternal postpartum depression and male mental health. Adam's openness became part of a broader dialogue that helped reduce stigma and expand awareness. His story didn't replace mothers' experiences, it complemented them, reminding people that mental health struggles don't need to compete for validity. Adam has also emphasized the importance of recognizing warning signs early. He encourages people not to wait until they reach a breaking point before seeking help. Emotional exhaustion, withdrawal, constant irritability, and feelings of disconnection aren't things to ignore or explain away. They're signals asking to be heard. He often reminds people that therapy isn't only for moments of crisis. It can be preventative. It can be supportive. It can be a place to process life before emotions become overwhelming. One of the quieter but most meaningful changes in Adam's life was learning to be kinder to himself. Depression often comes with harsh self-criticism. Adam learned how damaging it was to constantly judge himself for not being strong enough or grateful enough. Through therapy and reflection, he began practicing self-compassion. That shift changed how he responded to difficult days. Instead of seeing them as personal failures, he began seeing them as part of being human. Adam's story also sheds light on how public visibility can complicate mental health. Living life in the public eye creates pressure to maintain an image. When fans see only highlights, it can feel risky to reveal struggles. Adam's willingness to break that illusion helped humanize not only himself, but reality television as a whole. He showed that real life doesn't stop when cameras turn off, and that emotional struggles don't disappear just because people are watching. As the years passed, Adam continued prioritizing mental health as part of daily life, not as a separate issue. Exercise, rest, communication, and boundaries became essential, not optional. He became more intentional about work-life balance and more aware of how burnout affects emotional health. He also became more vocal about checking in with friends and other fathers. Simple questions like, "How are you really doing?" began to matter more. Adam learned that support doesn't always come from professionals alone, it also comes from community and honest relationships. Perhaps one of the most lasting impacts of Adam Busby's openness is how it changed the way fans connected with him. Instead of being seen only as a TV personality, he became someone people related to on a deeper level. His vulnerability built trust. His honesty created connection. People didn't admire him less for speaking about depression, they admired him more. Adam's journey reminds us that mental health stories don't need dramatic endings. Healing isn't about becoming a different person. It's about understanding yourself better, responding with compassion, and continuing forward with awareness. Postpartum depression doesn't define Adam Busby, but acknowledging it helped shape the man he became. His experience stands as a reminder that emotional struggles don't cancel love, success, or purpose. They exist alongside them. And facing those struggles openly can lead to growth that touches not just one life, but many. Adam Busby didn't open up about postpartum depression to gain attention. He did it because silence was heavier than honesty. And in choosing honesty, he helped create space for others to speak, to heal, and to feel seen. In the end, his story isn't just about depression. It's about courage. It's about responsibility. It's about choosing connection over isolation. And it's about reminding everyone, especially fathers, that they don't have to carry every